that little comedy festival, I don't understand. It's become such an contentious issue in the amazing world of comedy. Now, I've never done stand-up, nor do I particularly enjoy it. I think it's a very limiting and sort of overrated art form. That being said, I will defend Bill Burr and admit to my audience right here and now that I'd take the money. I'd take the money too. Dude. Bill Burr. You think I'm not going to take the money? What are you, a Mary? How else am I going to buy that new Helicoptaaa? You idiots think that podcast ad reads are going to pay for a new chopper? Helicopter money only comes from oil cartels and state-sponsored terrorism. That's what it takes. Oh, so you're all perfect. Gonna, make fun of Bill Burr. And I say, let he who is without sin cast the first stand-up comedy festival for a repressive desert monarchy. Oh, I guess Mr. High and Mighty podcast listener, who probably cheats on his girlfriend if he has one, is going to sit here and judge Bill Burr. Judge this great man. How many lifetimes would it take for you to end up headlining the Saudi Arabian Comedy Festival in Riyadh? I'm on my third attempt at Rosetta Stone Arabic. I'm supposed to judge this great man for enabling indentured servitude and slave labor. Mr. High and Mighty podcast listener, who probably has a drinking problem. I guess you've never also been a retired general who sat down with the president of Syria and praised him. Sure. You could say he was a bigwig in Al-Qaeda just a couple years ago or a couple months ago and had a massive bounty placed on his head by the U.S. government that he used to serve just up until a few years ago. Tens of millions of dollars. But you're going to sit here and judge these great men, these generals, these comedians, these titans of industry. Dude. I want to know what the stand-up set was like over there for Saudi Arabia. Doesn't your wife annoy you when she asks you to mow the lawn? Have you ever been there? And it's just some guy in the audience. I don't understand this joke. Why would your wife be speaking? All right, how about this? Anytime she hears a noise downstairs, you gotta go check it out. Dude. Like, yes, he does have a scimitar. But we're gonna let bygones be bygones. We're done with all this negativity towards the Middle East. No more of that. We're trying to open up the region here because there's money to be made and real politique to be had. Go listen to Winds of Change and find your nearest doorknob that you can kung fu yourself on if you've got a problem with that. We're moving forward. And I hate to bring up Mad Men here yet again on this podcast, but am I the only one, jokes aside, really feeling like Roger Sterling, seeing all these people fraternizing with the who's who of 9/11 and the global war on terror? Roger didn't want to do business with Honda because he was at war. He was a war vet who had been in the Pacific Theater against the Japanese. And then Don Draper had to come in and be like, what if we did a comedy festival? Think about it. Jews, comedy, Arabians, oil. We're settling the beef once and for all. I haven't done the Draper in so long. That's probably off. It's probably off. I got to tweak it and get back to my roots of John Hamm being gay. Now, most of my life has been involved the Middle East conflicts just constantly in the background. And now we have this change. Betrayal. A betrayal by the comedy gods. The gods of comedy that walk amongst us civilians. And now that they've got the bag, we can expect more 3-hour podcast about the business and comedy green rooms and what goes on back there until morale improves, until you stop bringing up the Saudi Arabian Comedy Festival. Stop bringing it up. You're not allowed to talk about it, okay? And yes, I take the money. But I'd have to come up with some stand-up material first. Again, I'm not a stand-up comedian. I'm not a god that walks among the mortals, that gets to fraternize with the House of Saud. Because I like to over-prepare for presentations. And I would really want to impress MBS and the boys, the rest of the boys of the House of Saud. I'd probably start off with some physical comedy, pull the Leslie Nielsen bit where he dries his hands on the Arab guy's head coverings. Was that Naked Gun, one of the Naked Guns? Whatever that thing's called, I don't know what it is, but, dry my hands, get the crowd really involved early. The rest of the show would just be me lifting material from the late Don Rickles, and I guess I'd have to alter the parts where he's referencing people like Sammy Davis Jr. Those are out of date, and you may complain about it, but it's not like Don is using the jokes anymore. I'm sure he'd be cool with it. Close out my 15 to 20 minutes with a rendition of Bowie's The Secret Life of Arabia. I'll get my vocals going, and we'll close out with that. But for $350K, 1.5 million or 1.3 million, whatever they're making, I'd do it. Think of what you could get with that kind of scratch. I'm trying to be rich. Like, the level of rich I want to be is valuetainment guy rich. Valuetainment guy levels of wealth. Patrick Bet-David. He's got to be 9 figures, and he's a constant source of inspiration for me. And just like Bill Burr, people attack him. People make jokes about his house tour and all of the art that he collects. And I'm like, just sitting back, looking at people mocking him. I'm like, what kind of art would you expect a rich Iranian man to collect? If I told you, as a thought experiment, that some sort of Persian had accumulated $100 million or whatever, right? The type of art he had in his house would be exactly the type of art that I would guess that he has. Paintings of celebrities and sports heroes. Fucking Bugs Bunny having cocktails with Kobe Bryant and Tommy from Goodfellas. The race car driver Senna playing blackjack with Heath Ledger's Joker and Martin Luther King Jr. That is exactly the art I would think a guy like that would have. And people make fun of him for it. I know the European elites, the WASP and the Jays, get well-deserved backlash for how they've managed the world over the past 100 years. But I will say those people knew how to pay up for good art. Transcendent art. Sure, some of it took a turn and got subversive at some point in time, but they still patronize some absolute bangers.